Every now and then on That Park Place, we like to praise the history of the Walt Disney Company, and we like to try to do it as accurately as possible. And accuracy, well, sometimes you need to proofread those things. Apparently, Disneyland has no such system to proofread what they send out. Let's talk about another embarrassing error on the part of Disneyland here on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter and professional writer, if I could be so bold, here on That Park Place. And here is Mr. Vash Guy, the guy that I go to for all of my Disney historical news and questions. Vash, I need to tell you about something hilarious. Are you ready for it?
Please do. Oh, yes.
You know how there was that tweet a while back where that Once Upon a Studio thing was going to come out, and so the Disney Twitter account tweeted about how Walt would go into his office and ask for the lullaby, and he would ask Roy to play it for him. Do you remember what was wrong with that one?
I do. It wasn't Roy that played that lullaby for him. I believe it was Richard Sherman.
It was Richard Sherman, or maybe they were thinking of Robert Sherman, the other Sherman brother. Do you remember that time when they put up flags in celebration of the 100 years of the Walt Disney Company, and they had momentous occasions all along? They would put up things like the release of Snow White. And the Seven Dwarves. They probably did spell dwarves with a V, which is not the way that Disney spelled it. But more importantly, they said it was 1939 that movie came out, which is interesting for a company that markets itself so much on large anniversaries. Vash, when did Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs come out?
Trick question, because the premiere of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs to the public was 1937, but it didn't officially go theatrical and wide distribution until 1938. So there is some debate about that, but generally amongst fans, it's agreed upon that the film came out in 1937.
That's right. What's funny is Agent Carter. There's an episode of Agent Carter where they talk about it's 1937, and all of these Black Widow agents are watching Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and I'm like, okay, so this then has to be occurring between December 12th and the end of the year, if this is 1937.
Right, exactly. There you go.
Before the movie before they even knew if the movie was going to be a hit, they decided to indoctrinate their Black Widow program with this movie, which was referred to as Walt's Folly. Okay. So here's the headline that we have been pushing back against here. I'm not trying to stall. I'm just trying to point out. Oh, of course, here's another one that I love. They send out release schedules, and then they'll leave the parentheticals in there, the bracket statements. Be sure to check this with Brooke before releasing to the public, and then they'll leave those things in there. Obviously, not having checked with Brooke. So here we are with an interesting little tweet from an account that I'm not necessarily familiar with. It is Disneyland Drive here. And let's see the large one here. You see 4 panels discussing what appears to be the opening crawl here to Disneyland, spoken by Walt Disney himself. And it says, "To all that come to this happy place, welcome." Vash, do you know what the actual speech?
Oh, absolutely. I've memorized it by heart. So it's to all who come to this happy place, welcome. That is for sure right there. That's really, really astounding, because you could have messed up on any one of these, and maybe people don't notice, maybe people do notice, but they decided to put the intro, which is so incredible, in big, bold font, larger than the rest of the piece right here. And the third word in this is the one they screwed up on. That is really astounding. A feat.
Right. They tend to mess up the attributing articles. To all that come to this happy place, welcome, as opposed to all who come to this. There's of course the let's never forget that it was all started with a mouse, which has been misquoted on the Walt the Dreamer statues as let's never forget that this was all started by a mouse. It's a lot of very close, like someone who said it one time, or you overheard it in a bar and you said, "Oh, what was that quote? Let me write this down really quick." It's fascinating to me that they make these kind of mistakes over and over and over again. Vash, is the rest of this speech okay? Can you take a look at this and tell me, is there anything missing here? We're of course going to terrorize you in the comments if you get any of it wrong. So no pressure.
No. It's quite fine right here. So Disneyland is your land. Here your age relives fun memories of the past, and here youth may savor the challenge and promise of the future. Disneyland is dedicated to the ideals, the dreams, and the hard facts that have created America with the hope, not with hope, that it will be a source of joy and inspiration to all the world. So yeah, with the should be there. And by the way, this is where
and the hard facts
that drop comes from right there.
Right. I do love the fact that, Walt Disney, that based Walt Disney is pointing back to the hard facts here. Even in Disneyland, in the opening of this place for dreamers of all ages, that he is pointing back to the hard facts of the situation.
Oh my gosh. Jonas, I just realized this. We've been so concentrated on the speech itself that we forgot one crucial detail in all this thing. That's not Sleeping Beauty Castle. That's Cinderella's castle back there. So you have Disneyland D. You have Disneyland's specific dedication speech, which is wholly separate from Walt Disney World or Magic Kingdom's dedication speech. And then you have Cinderella Castle.
Oh my goodness, you're totally right. How in the world do you make that kind of mistake? I'm assuming they have a partner statue at Disneyland at this point, right?
Oh yeah, the partner statue absolutely does exist in all of the castle parks, except maybe Shanghai doesn't have it. But yeah, I mean, so let me just make sure this is right. Yeah, I believe it's also. Let me see. Is that Magic Kingdom's entrance and their
either way, it's an
City Hall?
approximation. Also, I need to point out that the partner statue, I don't know if the Disneyland one is pointed a different direction, but they also have the direction of the partner statue facing the wrong way as well, because it's facing with Walt to the left, looking away from the castle, and the graphic here has Walt to the right, looking towards the castle. So there's a lot here that's not quite right. I wonder if they're going to do a Walt Disney World version of this, and then they just cheaped out and decided, man, that D. I feel like this was a strictly Disneyland thing, and they just messed it up entirely. Oh my goodness, Vash, what is wrong with this company? First of all, just send it to one Disney fan. And here you go. Oh, here it is. Just Ellen, I guess, is here with a great comment. It annoys me when the merch team says, let's go for the fans of history, and we can't be bothered to accurately represent that history or details, like which castle goes where at the same time.
I'm I'm looking at this. I'm really stunned because I think that those are images from Magic Kingdom spliced in with Disneyland right there. I'm pretty sure I got to look at it more closely, but this is so flawed in multiple ways. And look, but when looking over the exclusive documentation to that park place, they spent a little bit on history, but it was clear that it was like, okay, we're just gonna brush over this, and here's the new content, here's the new stuff. I do wonder how many people, let's say legacy people that still work within the company are really making these decisions, or really part of the creative process in this way. Because
we will have more to talk about there. There is a reason for this. Yes, that's a very good point, Vash. We'll have an exclusive bit of info, a leak, to continue the tradition of Leak Week, which just doesn't stop here on that park place. Vash, you have anything to add before we wrap this up?
We've seen a lot of this recently. I mean, it's just all kinds of stuff. You can see right here, we talked about the flags before. There's this, again, this was advertising Disney's 100th anniversary right here. It's not like this was a little thing. This was, once in a century celebration. And
what do you not enjoy going to Disney's Animal Kingdom and seeing Spaceship Earth right there in the middle of the park?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's really something. But then we have like maintenance signs on the exterior of Indiana Jones getting, things wrong and typos and so forth. We have, like you said, notes in Disney Parks blog updates that are still there at the time of publishing. It's just I don't know whether or not you have a bunch of people who are not necessarily qualified to do the job, or that they've gotten rid of a lot of their proofreaders and so forth in order to save costs. I have no idea what is going on with this company, but when you have a merchandise line, which by the way, they've probably ordered thousands of these shirts that you want to go ahead and move product on, you don't get these things right. I mean, this really tells you Jonas, where this company is at right here. It's just it's like they don't even care.
It's a very good point. And of course, one of my favorite things about them not really caring at this point is there is a section of the company that absolutely hates Brer Rabbit, Song of the South, and Splash Mountain. And he keeps showing up when they reuse assets and they don't look closely enough. You can still get Brer Rabbit merchandise on occasion here or there if you can find it. But we want to throw this to our commenters. Oh my goodness, how did this get worse as this video went on? Here we were just going to give them a hard time about a quote, and they can't even get the castle right. All right. Let's guys, let us know what you think about this in the comment section down below. What's your favorite misunderstood Disney quote? Where do you want to see Disney's Tree of Life, for instance? Which park is that in? Maybe have a little fun with it. Tell us your thoughts in the comment section down below. Of course, like this video if you like this video, and consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be flubbed.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.